When a capital project gets the green light, machinery rolls in. But that moment of approval is also the moment of maximum vulnerability. Organizations commit billions of dollars based on meticulously crafted paper forecasts. The second those projections hit the real world, they clash with unpredictable variables: supply chain delays, inflation, and shifting geopolitical regulations. Once the ink dries and the operating environment shifts, how does a company actually secure the return on investment it originally promised? Capital investment monitoring acts as an active defense system, intercepting deviations before they become sunk costs. It transforms the finance function from a passive observer of expenses into a strategic safeguard. Return on investment does not happen by accident just because a project was approved. It has to be actively managed, thought for, and defended every single day of the project's lifecycle. That defense relies on a few core mechanics: tracking actual spend against forecasted budgets, conducting reviews at key milestones, and executing post-implementation audits to verify the intended benefits were delivered. This process diagram outlines capital investment monitoring. The critical mechanism holding it together is variance analysis, the practice of continuously measuring the exact gap between planned outcomes and actual reality. This diagram categorizes the risk types that drive variances. Finance teams monitor 4 distinct measurable threats. Operational risk brings delays. Financial risk involves funding gaps. Strategic risk covers technology obsolescence. And regulatory risks arise from compliance failures. To defend against these threats, organizations use frameworks to put hard numbers on the danger. When an infrastructure company used Monte Carlo simulations, a statistical tool modeling the probability of different outcomes, they estimated the exact likelihood of a $1.5 billion rail line exceeding its cost ceiling. Based on that data, they proactively doubled their contingency reserve from 5 to 10%. By categorizing and quantifying potential threats before they hit, an organization stops reacting to chaos and becomes an active course corrector. Data collection is useless unless it triggers immediate action. Consider a global pharmaceutical company constructing an $80 million R&D lab amidst a volatile market. Controllers implemented a custom dashboard linking actual capital expenditures to phase-wise benefit realization. This allowed the finance team to instantly spot a shift when market conditions worsened. Armed with that intelligence, executives immediately paused a non-critical phase of construction, protecting the overall budget and preserving the project's viability. The need for agility scales up dramatically in decentralized ecosystems. Google manages multi-billion-dollar capital projects spanning multiple countries to support its cloud and AI ambitions. Building these centers requires tracking a dense web of variables in real time, from regional capital spend to localized regulatory exposure and sudden supply chain shifts. To manage those localized geopolitical risks, Google's controllers rely on dynamic forecasting, utilizing predictive risk models and reevaluating their positions on continuous 12-month cycles. This transparency allows for massive physical pivots. If a project in one country faces severe regulatory delays, finance teams can halt that construction and instantly deploy capital to accelerate a different center in another region. At maximum scale, integrating advanced ERP systems to monitor global expenditures is the only practical way to preserve ROI amidst geopolitical chaos. The tools powering this oversight are getting faster. Organizations are integrating AI and Internet of Things sensors to move away from static reporting. These platforms now generate predictive alerts, catching anomalies before capital is wasted. The definition of a successful investment is also expanding. Modern financial controllers now factor environmental, social, and governance impacts directly into their baseline strategy. This introduces green ROI. Through practices like carbon costing, companies monetize their emissions and environmental externalities directly within their investment appraisals. Some organizations discard conventional ROI targets in favor of brand-centric metrics. Patagonia evaluates financial decisions based on long-term brand integrity and environmental stewardship. By absorbing the higher costs of sustainable materials and reinvesting profits into activism, the company creates aggressive pricing power and intense brand loyalty. This reflects a broader shift toward impact investing, where capital is allocated to generate measurable ecological or social returns, like installing clean energy assets, directly alongside financial gains. Effective monitoring anchors a project's cash flow to its original strategic intent. By quantifying everything from budget variances to carbon costs, the finance team ensures that the organization's long-term value remains consistent with its stated environmental and financial commitments.